Hey everyone, and greetings from Branson, Missouri, a fantastic tourist town. And the best part about this town is all the things to do.
There's so much.
There is. In this video, we're going to show you all of them. From the world-class amusement parks to the animal attractions, the natural beauty, wax museum, crazy tourist attractions, and more. I go by the legend, joined by my wonderful girlfriend Molly, and these are the things to do in Branson, Missouri. Let's kick off the things to do in Branson by talking about what I consider to be the biggest attraction in town, and that is the Silver Dollar City theme park. Now, Silver Dollar City, it is an amazing theme park, one of the best in the country, and it really has everything. You've got all sorts of big and giant crazy rides, but then you also have other stuff, like you've got a whole bunch of shows, you've got some great food, there's a cave tour, it is a wonderful environment to walk around. There's also tons of craftsmen doing their things like glass blowing and blacksmithing, and it's just a wonderful place to spend a day, and I can't recommend it highly enough. But I will say, Silver Dollar City, with all that great stuff, it is a rather expensive place to visit. It is $92 for a ticket. Right on the strip, you'll find Whitewater, which is the main water park here in Branson, Missouri. It is owned by the same people that own Silver Dollar City. It's got a bit on the older side, a collection of slides and pools, lazy river, wave pool, some water slides, some mat slides, some body slides, some tube slides. Gonna skip this one, we're not the biggest water park people. But I will say it's been very hot here in Branson, so it probably feels great. We're currently outside of one of the most striking buildings on the strip here in Branson, and that is for the Titanic Museum, which is a very, very good attraction.
It is. It's really well done.
Yes, it's an attraction where there's no filming on the inside, but there's all sorts of history of the Titanic, you know, artifacts from the Titanic. It's really good. I don't like going to sad history on vacation, so this isn't probably my favorite thing to do in town. Like, it doesn't have the fun of riding a roller coaster or playing mini golf, but it is very, very well done.
And they have a little bit of an interactive part where you get I want to say character, but it's a name.
Yeah, a real person's name.
A real person's name, and then you learn about that person throughout.
And then at the end, you find out if they made it or not.
Yep.
This attraction is $35 for adults. They do some family packs if you have a larger family. There are a number of animal-based attractions in Branson, Missouri, and the first one here was my personal favorite out of all of them, and that is the aquarium at the boardwalk. Now, this is a pretty new aquarium, opened just a couple years ago, and it is very, very nice. Now, it's not the biggest aquarium you'll ever see, but it is entirely well-themed and a great experience. All sorts of different animals in there, from my favorite, the giant Pacific octopus, to sharks and rays, fish, and a whole bunch more presented in this wonderful environment. There's even one point you go on a ride that tells you a story of how you get to the sea base area. Really cool aquarium. Now, it is not the cheapest attraction in town. It does run about $30 or so for adults to get into. I think I was there for just over an hour. Also runs some really long hours. I think during my visit, the aquarium was open from like 8 in the morning till 10 in the evening, so plenty of time to visit this one. One of my favorite attractions can be found a little bit outside of town, and that is the Top of the Rock Lost Canyon Cave and Nature Trail. This is something I haven't experienced before, and it was really, really neat. What you do, it's a 2.5-mile trail, but instead of walking it, you get to drive on a golf cart, and it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of nature. There are waterfalls, covered bridges, and the best part, you even get to drive your golf cart through a cave, and the cave has a bar in it. This is one I really would say not to miss. Tickets for this one are about $43 for adults, but they do include admission to a nature museum. The wild upside-down White House buildings, that is the Wonderworks, which is kind of like a science museum meets funhouse meets arcade. Lots of wacky interactive things in there. If you want to go inside the Wonderworks, it does cost around $33. I haven't done the one here, but I've done the one in Orlando, and it is a pretty fun time. We are currently at Branson Landing, which is a big shopping, dining, and entertainment area. We're going to show you all the offerings over here. Obviously, lots of stores, lots of restaurants. If you want to spend $25, you can go into the Shipwreck Interactive Treasure Museum. You got some stuff you'll find other places in Branson, like a big arcade, or a mirror maze, or a 7D Triotech simulator ride. We're currently in Andy's, which is a bar with pool tables, shuffleboard, video games, escape rooms, and bowling. Bowling, not cheap though. If you want to rent a lane, $50 an hour, and then shoe rental is going to cost you $5 a person. There are plenty of restaurants if you're looking for somewhere to eat dinner. There is also a zip line ride that will take you over the river.
That's kind of cool.
One of my favorite parts about Branson Landing is that they have a Smith Creek moonshine distillery. If you like trying different flavors of liquor, do not miss Smith Creek Moonshine. It is a free sampling, and you get to try 15 different moonshines. My personal favorite is Butter Cake. There we go. One of the coolest features about Branson Landing is that once an hour, right in the middle of the property, they set off a big giant fountain and fire show synced to music. There's an attraction called Metaplex, home to some different simulators and VR stuff. I think their star attraction is this, a Gravedigger virtual reality simulator ride. You get VR headsets and then you get to bounce around in Gravedigger. And you also spin around. This looks like a blast, the Branson jet boat experience. Guess you go on a tour of the river in that big jet boat. Located right next to Branson Landing, you'll have historic downtown Branson, which is a cute little Main Street area. There are restaurants and shops. My favorite thing over here, they've got the old-timey Dick's 5 and 10. Really cool store. There's also a dinosaur fossil store in this area. The next animal attraction in Branson is the Butterfly Palace, and this one is an interesting one. The main attraction at the Butterfly Palace is, of course, the butterflies. There's a large garden area with thousands of butterflies, and it is a very peaceful attraction. One thing I like about this, you get this little fake flower with nectar, and you get to wander around with it in hopes that a butterfly will land on you. And I just thought this was really, really neat. Now, the butterflies aren't the only attraction there. Also included with your admission is a mirror maze, a little playground, a 3D movie, and then this really cool rainforest room home to all sorts of reptiles. One thing I like about the Butterfly Palace, for your $27 admission, that is valid for up to 3 days. So if you went on day one and decided, hey, I want to go back a couple days later, if you didn't take that wristband off, you can go and check out the butterflies again, and maybe check them out at a different time of day. Located right on the strip in Branson is the Celebrity Car Museum, which I thought was a really, really cool attraction. It is a collection of screen-used Hollywood movie cars, collectible cars, all in this wonderful indoor setting. And they've got some really, really great stuff in there. There's cars from the Transformers movies, lots of cars from the Fast and the Furious films, including Dom's Charger, and my personal favorite, they've got the Shaggin' Wagon, the Mutz Cuts van from Dumb and Dumber. This was a wonderful attraction. Love this quite a bit. They do rotate their cars as well, so I'm looking, if I go back to Branson in a couple years, to definitely go back to this museum. The admission cost to get into the Celebrity Car Museum is $25, and if you want to pay $10, you could sit in almost every single one of the cars and get your picture taken. Check this place out. This is an attraction called Fritz's Adventure, which is a very interesting, unique kind of place. There's all sorts of ropes courses and climbing and slides. It is really wild looking. You go, looks like you climb into this plane. Now this isn't one Molly and I are going to do, as it's a little too much climbing for us at this time of the day. Different prices for different things in here. If you just want to run around and play on the equipment, no harnesses, that's going to be $25. If you want to go on the ropes courses, that bumps up to $40. If you want to do the zip lines outside, that becomes $55. But this place, it's pretty neat. The next attraction is housed inside this wild-looking building here, and this is the Hollywood Wax Museum Complex, home to a big wax museum, along with a very good mirror maze, a shooting simulator ride, and a mini golf course. I did like the wax museum quite a bit. I thought it was really long. It was on 2 different levels. Lots of stuff to see in there. Lots of different fun places you could get your picture taken. And I just find wax museums neat. It's always just kind of interesting to see what's around the next corner, which stars will be in there, and what kind of wacky settings there'll be. The wax museum itself costs $27. If you want to bundle together all 4 attractions in that complex, that is $37. And then they also have another option. If you want to bundle all 4 attractions in the wax museum area, plus add on that aquarium I talked about earlier, that is around $60. That's what I did on this trip. Also worth noting, the mini golf course is really cool. It takes you through Hollywood, and each one of the mini golf holes, you hit a button and you get told a story by your agent, Marty McBooster, who I'm going to throw it to right now. Here's Marty.
Hey, has anyone ever told you you look like a star? I'm Marty McBooster, and I can boost you to star status if you let me be your agent.
Possibly the most popular thing to do here in Branson is go see a show. All along the main strip and off the strip, there are a million theaters offering all sorts of shows to go see, from Dolly Parton's Stampede Dinner Show to lots and lots of musical shows, magic shows, pet shows, and more. Shows are not really my thing. I can't tell you which one's going to be better than the other ones, but there are a lot of them here, and they are very, very popular thing to do in Branson is go to one of the shows, if not multiple of the shows. Located in Branson West, you'll find the Talking Rock Caverns, which is a really, really neat cave tour. Now, this costs about $29 for an adult ticket, and it lasts about an hour long. The cave tour, it's kind of like one big giant room of a cave, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Really breathtaking.
Yes, no, I agree. We've done a couple of different cave tours, and this one giant room. However, there is very tiny
You gotta squeeze sometimes. And there's if you have claustrophobia issues, this probably is not going to be the attraction for you, but I loved it. I would definitely recommend this one if you're over in that Branson West area. There's also other stuff to do in the complex. There was a nature trail over to a lookout tower, which has got some really cool views, and there is a kind of like a nature themed mini golf course as well.
Yeah, very nice.
There are 3 different locations here in Branson of an attraction called The Track, which is a family fun center. Each one has some sort of big, crazy go-kart track. So this one's got what's known as the Wild Woody here. And different ones will have different attractions as well. This one has a big, giant skyscraper as well as a spinning roller coaster. They also have rides for the little ones. Although I will say, I'm gonna ride their roller coaster because I'm somebody that counts their roller coasters. And for me to ride this small blue roller coaster, it is $13.50. Ouch. A staple in pretty much every single tourist town, and Branson is no exception, is Ripley's Believe It or Not. Now, if you've never been to one of these before, they're a very interesting museum filled with a collection of all sorts of things from all over the world. And that could be anything from art made out of weird things like old car parts to the world's largest roll of toilet paper. You could take your picture next to a wax figure of the world's tallest man. A fun time at Ripley's Believe It or Not always, and this one costs about $29 for adults to get in. One way to see Branson? Well, you can pay some money and go on a helicopter tour. One of the more interesting ways to see Branson is via one of these duck boat tours. Duck boats are an aquatic vehicle, so they'll go over the land and they'll splash down and take you on a tour of the lake. I believe the duck boat tours run about $40 per adult. Another way to see the city of Branson and the surrounding areas by taking the scenic railway, which I'm assuming is this train right here. Now it goes off 3 times a day, Monday to Friday, and a round trip ticket would run you about $32. Although something interesting they do on Saturdays. They do a dinner train on Saturdays.
Romantic.
Yeah, that would be neat. Located right on the strip next to Walmart, you'll find Wild World, which is another animal-based attraction. This one is kind of a combination of an indoor aquarium, an indoor reptile zoo, and then a small outdoor zoo. I think the big selling point with Wild World is that you can do some animal encounters, like you could go into the pen with the dingoes, I think that's around $5, or for $15, you could go in the lemur playground, which is an awesome experience. Now, I bought my tickets on Groupon when I went to Wild World, and it was about $16 a piece. For a dose of pure nostalgia, be sure to check out the world's largest toy museum. This is located right on the main strip in Branson, and it's home to over 1 million toys. Now, I loved collecting toys when I was a little kid. I still like collecting toys now, so this was a wonderful attraction for me. All sorts of stuff in there, from toy cars to action figures, model trains, Happy Meal toys, and more. I can't recommend this place highly enough if you're a fan of toys like I am. This one costs about $22 to get in. We're currently at the Bigfoot on the Strip attraction, which is another family entertainment center. There's a big giant playground here that you can buy a ticket to go in with it's kind of fun because there's like a big 10-foot thing you jump off of into a giant airbag, mini golf, of course, arcade. But then the coolest things is they've got like a 200-foot tall drop tower and then a 200-foot tall slingshot ride. And these are some of the wildest things you could do anywhere in Branson.
Yes.
A rather interesting attraction on the strip is Beyond the Lens, which has two different components. The better component, the one I like better, there is a fly ride in here, which is a big flying theater-style simulator ride. If you've been on Soarin' at Disney World, it is similar to that, and it is really well done. The other part is the Beyond the Lens Museum, which is kind of like an attraction that I feel like doesn't know exactly what it wants to be. In one part, it's like Instagram selfie museum. In one part, it's like free play arcade. And then another part, it's like a conspiracy theory museum, as this attraction originated as a National Enquirer museum and grew into kind of whatever it is today. Not my favorite thing on the strip, but I would definitely recommend the flying theater. Pricing for Beyond the Lens, if you want to go on the fly ride, that is $20. If you want to go in the museum, that is $29. And if you want a combo ticket to do both, that is $37.
Let's take a minute to talk mountain coasters here in Branson. There are 3 of them. If you're not familiar, you ride in a small sled like that with 1 or 2 people, and you control how fast you go on a small roller coaster type ride down a mountain. Now there are 3 different mountain coasters here in Branson. I have been on 2 of them. Right on the strip, you'll find the Branson coaster, which is I believe it's the smallest one, or at least the one that's least in the woods, the least amount of uphill, downhill. The one I have done, my favorite one in town, is the Runaway Mountain Coaster. Off the main strip a little bit, but it is up in the mountains with the trees. And then there's this one, the Copperhead Mountain Coaster, which I actually came over here to do, but the line is probably 50 people long, and I really don't feel like waiting. Now, the Copperhead Mountain Coaster is located at the Shepherds of the Hills Adventure Park area, which is home to a bunch of other stuff besides just a mountain coaster. There is a ropes course. There is like a historic farm tour you could go on, a big observation tower that you could see there with a big crazy zip line on it. Now, all the mountain coasters in town, they're running around $18. Shepherd of the Hills, they also have some big theater options here. Like there's a big outdoor drama, there's a Chuck Wagon dinner show, and I think a murder mystery show as well. Right off the strip is what might be the most popular place to go shopping here in the Branson area. It is a big Tanger outlet center.
There's 2 stores I like here.
All right.
The Smith Creek Moonshine.
Yes, if you didn't get enough at Branson Landing, it is also here in the outlets.
Yes. And then they have a Disney store. It's one of the few Disney stores remaining.
Yeah, and it's the outlet, so you get better prices.
Yes.
There's also Box Lunch. I like Box Lunch too. A different shopping center. This one is the Shops at Branson Meadows. And I wanted to point this out because they have something really cool. 1984 Branson, which is a classic 80s arcade. It's a really big arcade. It takes up this whole area here. And it is a free play arcade. So I think you pay your $12 admission. And then once you go inside, you can just sit there and play all the games you want. And that's pretty cool. I love me some arcades, especially your retro arcades. And this one, especially if it's like a rainy day in Branson, you could come in here, sit down, beat a whole bunch of games, and kill a whole bunch of time. One of the most noticeable structures on the strip is the Branson Wheel, a big giant observation style Ferris wheel. If it looks familiar, this is not its first home. It actually used to be on Navy Pier in Chicago, but it's been here in Branson for a little bit now. Let's go check out the view. And we are now near the top of the Ferris wheel, and you can see some of the mountains off in the distance, but I think you really get the view of kind of all the shenanigans and the crazy architecture around the strip. So you get King Kong and the Titanic and Wonderworks. This Ferris wheel was $15.50 to go on. They actually have a decent deal. For $20, you get a deal where you get a daytime ride and a nighttime ride. That's an interesting idea.
I don't know how much you can see at night though.
You probably get some interesting lights. And also, if you want to add it on for, $4.50 is not a bad price.
Yeah.
Water park over there. I think a helicopter is getting ready to take off over here.
Yep.
We just spent an hour walking around something that's a must stop for me every time I come to Branson. That's the Apple Tree Mall, a mix between like an antique mall and a flea market. You can find anything in there. Mm-hmm. Really, really fun stop. And they're open long hours too, like I think 8 a.m. till 10 p.m.
The largest of all the animal attractions in Branson is the Branson Promised Land Zoo. Now, this is an attraction that costs about $23 to get into, and there are 2 different parts. The first part is a walking tour. We get to walk and see all of the animals on foot. You can also buy feed for a couple of bucks, and I got to feed a Patagonian Mara, and that was just put a huge smile on my face. There's bigger animals in here as well as smaller animals, domesticated animals, and wild animals. The second part of the attraction is a drive-through safari, and these are a lot of fun. You also get to feed the animals from here, so you can have different animals come into your car, which is it's a good time.
Right now we're at an attraction that, well, I had no idea this existed. Slimetropolis. You could create slime, get slimed, and more. I guess kind of like a Nickelodeon knockoff kind of attraction.
Yeah, they have a slime simulator that you get slimed, and then
but it's like $30 a person, I think, if you want to go get slimed.
Yeah, there's bounce and climb and play structures inside, and you can make your own slime.
Interesting. Right on the strip's what I imagine is a pretty new location, the Digtown Adventure Park. It might be the most adorable thing in all of Branson.
It is cute.
It is like a family entertainment center themed around construction equipment. But that adorableness comes at a price. Molly, what's the prices on this one?
For 6 rides, it's $40. For 12 rides, all 12 rides, it's $60. If you want to come back another day, it's $65. However, it's $5 to play the mini golf only, and $8 if you just want the drop ride.
$5 for mini golf is a pretty good deal in Branson.
Yeah.
The next attraction is a bit of an odd one. It's called Retromania, and it's got an 80s theme. And inside this attraction, there's a whole bunch of wax figures of various 80s movie stars of questionable quality. And then there's a haunted house as well, which you walk through, which is actually a pretty solid haunted house. It's better than I thought it would be for sure. There's also a mini golf course, a whole blacklight rock and roll mini golf course, and a good-sized arcade set to free play with all sorts of 80s games. Now, this is probably by far not the best attraction in town, but I will say it is an excellent value. I bought tickets for this on Groupon. It was only like $12 a person for a haunted house mini golf and an arcade. That is a pretty good deal in Branson, where sometimes deals can be hard to find.
Right now we're coming at you from Grand Country, and this is a place.
It is.
All sorts of stuff over here. There's a giant entertainment center, indoor mini golf, farmyard-based outdoor mini golf, indoor go-karts, the largest fiddle and banjo you'll see in your entire life.
And just a regular arcade.
Yeah, I think the biggest attraction over here, there's an indoor water park. Now, guests of the hotel can get in for free. There's also a hotel over here and a show theater. If you want to go to the water park and you're not staying at the Grand Country, I believe it's about $45 to go to their indoor water park. Currently off the strip a little bit at the Lighthouse Art Space here in Branson, which is a projection mapping museum. Currently, they are showing the Disney animation one. Now, I've gone to some of these projection museums before. I've seen one about Leonardo da Vinci. I've seen one about Van Gogh. I love Disney animation, so this would be right up my alley. A bit of a pricey attraction. I believe this is close to $40 for adults. Mm-hmm. Right now we're at the Cakes and Cream 50s Diner. Look at that line. It is about 10:23. They do have some very popular desserts over here, but what I like is that they have a free drive-in movie. I'm not sure what's playing. It's like normally not like modern movies, but, and it's a free attraction. Obviously you should come and buy something at the diner if you're going to watch the film, but that's pretty cool. If you're looking for a charming place to go shopping, you might want to check out the Grand Village Shops, home to a whole bunch of different specialty shops. This is also where you'll find Mel's Hard Luck Diner, a diner restaurant with singing waitstaff. One thing there is no shortage of in Branson is mini golf. This next segment here, we're going to take a look at some of the more interesting courses. This is one I like a lot. This is Professor Hacker's Lost Treasure Golf. And what makes this one unique is you get a little train ride to take you up to the first hole.
Plus, it's really pretty with the waterfall, and you walk through a pirate's skull.
Yeah. See, I wasn't lying about the train. There it goes.
You can see it all.
At All Access Branson, we have a medieval mini golf. Look at that dragon with the castle. Probably one of the most famous chains of mini golf is Pirates Cove Mini Golf, and they have one here in Branson. They do have a lot of waterfalls and a lot of water, but the course does look pretty. You can't have mini golf without having a dinosaur themed mini golf. And this is a Dinosaur Canyon Golf. And they do have a waterfall in the middle. And it looks like a very cute but simple course. There's dinosaurs all over. Looking over at you. I'm very sad. I turned off the camera too soon. The volcano spits fire. The volcano is behind that tree right there. But here's a dinosaur. Here's a little bit better view of that volcano, and it did erupt. There was fire. 1 block off the strip by the aquarium is our Coral Reef Mini Golf indoors.
Right off the strip, you'll find the Dinosaur Museum. It advertises 50 life-size dinosaurs. Unfortunately, they're not animatronic dinosaurs, which is kind of like my favorite types. It's like dinosaur statues and then some fossils. Around $13, I believe, admission to the Dinosaur Museum.
Probably pretty good for kids.
If you're looking for alcohol-based tourism, Branson is probably not going to be the best city for you, but we just got out of the St. James Winery, and that was a really cool spot.
Yes.
They offer wine tastings, a glass of wine at a bar for pretty reasonable prices. We took home a bottle for like $12.99. We're not going to go to the other one, but right near the St. James Winery, within walking distance, you could probably hit it with a baseball, is the Ozark Hills Winery. These are both right off of the main parkway, not too far off. In Branson West, you'll find the Copper Run Distillery, which is kind of a small batch distillery. It's such a really cool spot. They have a bar in there. You get 3 samples, nice pours. The spiced rum was my favorite. Their bottle prices also are not too bad compared to some other like small batch distilleries. Right on the strip, if you're into military history, you'll probably want to check this out. The Veterans Memorial Museum with over 1,000 artifacts and displays from various wars and conflicts. It is $22.50, I believe, to get in. If you're looking for something very different to do in Branson, there is a redneck comedy bus tour where I guess you go around on this camouflage bus and you listen to redneck comedy. Another specialty museum on the strip. This is the Auto and Farm Museum. So not like that celebrity car museum we went to, but more classic and farm equipment based. This one is $23 to go into. There's no shortage of places to take your picture here in Branson, but I had to put this one on camera real quick. The Dunkin' Donuts has a giant, probably 6-foot tall donut you can take your picture in. An attraction I had no idea existed, one we're probably not going to visit, but if it's your thing, you might really enjoy it. The History Fishing Museum is right off the main strip.
And there we go. That'll do it for the things to do in Branson, Missouri. As you can see, this town has a ton to offer. Now, whenever I do a video like this, it's impossible to get absolutely everything. So if I miss something in this video, let me know in the comments section below. As far as my favorite attractions in town, I would say it's definitely Silver Dollar City, the aquarium at the boardwalk, the Apple Tree Mall, and that golf cart you get to drive through a cave. But I am curious, what are your favorite attractions? Let me know in the comments section below. And thank you very much for watching this video.